So, the AI had indicated that a likely cause of the mower blade not engaging was that there could be debris around one of the places where the blade belt turns. The debris could be in there and sort of clogging a clear pathway for the belt to turn against the rotors or to hit the rotors that actually turn that blade. So the AI said that I should try to clear that debris. Now I've gone in there. You can see I've sort of tried to get as much of this debris out as I possibly can, but there is still some more right behind this plate right here. So I am going to take my trusty ratchet wrench and simply take off this entire little plate apparatus here that is, I think, holding in a lot of debris. Now, I had not mowed the lawn in a couple of weeks. I had one of my neighbor kids was doing some mowing, but it had been a couple weeks since he had done it, and I had been away and had come back into town and said, well, I will go ahead and take care of the lawn. He does a great job, but he's back now, so I'll go ahead and do it. And the lawn was a little long, so I think this has never actually happened before, and I think there just was such a significant amount of debris that that we simply were in a situation where that's what we got here. So there's one plate, and I'll just go ahead and do this to the two remaining plates, and then we're gonna clear out that debris and see what we get. Okay, the 3 bolts have been removed. Now we will simply, if there's quite a bit of debris in here, you can see this is the belt that would have been engaged when you there's my bolts. Let's not lose those. There we go. Yes, if it can be lost, I will lose it. I recall just from various reading and research that there is a saying in the Navy that if it can happen, it will happen. In other words, you should prepare for every situation and realize every situation could happen. So the fact that these 3 bolts are right here and I'm cleaning this debris out, well, what could happen? What could happen? Well, I knock them as I'm knocking clearing the leaves out, and then I can't find them, and I'm looking for hours and minutes, and they're just simply in a leaf pile, and I didn't even realize I had knocked those bolts down with the leaves. And then I rake or blow the leaves off the driveway, the bolts go with them, they're lost forever, and I'm just frustrated. So again, I'm trying to learn from my mistakes. I've made that mistake before. So when you just see something about to, that's not a great place to have the bolts. It's right there when you're, just move them, move the bolts up. Okay. All right, so next step is going to be, let's crank this baby up and see if AI was right, if AI is a mechanic, and what that means. Is the AI a mechanic alone, or was it simply the brain? And the brain plus the human who doesn't really know a lot about, Troy-Bilt blade engagement. Is that the whole mechanic? So we'll get into that in just a second. Let's crank this baby up. Now I was just about to crank up the Troy-Bilt and see if the blade would engage. And I realized there was a whole other side here. There's a whole other area where debris could collect around the blade engagement belt or pulley. And so I unscrewed two of them. Now look, I have discovered something with the Troy-Bilt to speed up your debris removal. You can just unscrew two of the nuts there, and then it sort of slides apart. You don't have to take off all three like I did with the other one. And then look at all this. You can just sort of just remove all of that. So this is absolutely huge. Now whether or not this is the problem, you can see it's actually disengaged right there. So whether or not that was actually the problem, I don't know. We're going to find out pretty soon whether it was. We're going to get rid of all that. And so we've now followed AI's recommendation on both sides. And I've learned a little bit about the Troy-Bilt in the process. You can see there's even more back here. And so there's quite a bit I can remove. So, okay. So AI's recommendation has been followed on both sides. Now, I think we're ready to crank this up. Now, in order to do this, you will see I have actually had to jury rig a bit of a jump start for my mower because this battery is actually dead. It will hold enough of a charge once I have it plugged into a battery charger. I can sort of hot start it while the battery charge is plugged up, and we'll get this thing started. So I've actually been running this way for, I don't know, 6 or 7 months. I just haven't had the wherewithal to go buy a new battery when this works. This is pretty easy. Just pop it on right where I need to get the engine started. Saves me, I don't know, it's a couple $100 now to buy one of these batteries. And I don't need to do it right now. So anyways, we're going to give this a start and see if the blade engagement works. All right, so finally got everything bolted back in, all the parts reassembled, all the debris cleared. Now, one thing about starting the Troy-Bilt with this sort of makeshift jump starting arrangement is I can't actually sit down in the seat while I'm take the blade engagement off. All right, now's the time to try the blade engagement. And the blade engagement did not work. Okay, so AI actually gave me 10 different things that it thought could be the problem for the blade not engaging on this Troy-Bilt mower right here. And I first took a look at significant debris around the blade engagement belt, or the belt that turns the rotor that turns the blades, just because there was a ton of debris. I mean, just all kinds of leaves and grass, and it needed a good cleaning anyway, so I did that first. That did not work. So actually, the first thing, I don't know if AI prioritized or ranked these. The debris problem was listed as 6th, actually, but I just gravitated toward it because I noticed there was a ton of debris all in this system here under the mower deck. But actually, top ranked on the list was just basically sort of a worn, faulty, or slipped belt here. And as you can see, this thing is not really that tight, right? So it's pretty loose. It's just hanging here. Whether I do the engagement lever or not, it's pretty loose. So we're actually going to take a look at AI's number 1 recommendation on its list. We'll hit that next. Okay, so I took off the housing that sort of obscures this rotor here from the outside world, from, all the grass and stuff. Grass does get in there, but at least there's this housing that offers some protection. And as you can see, the pulley should be going right here, and the pulley is in fact under there. So I'm going to work with this a little bit, and maybe if I disengage, okay. So I disengage this, and now it should be possible to kind of fit this back in here. It looks like there's other little systems, so I'm probably going to have to work with it, but this definitely looks promising. AI's top pick, and I'm not sure why I went to number 6 right off the bat. This seems more promising, and AI had ranked this as number 1 of 10 to take a look at. So I'm going to work with these mechanisms and see if I can slip this belt back on, and we'll go from there. All right, after a little bit of maneuvering here, I got the cable back in place, or the belt, and I did engage it, which tightens everything. And you can see it's definitely looks like where it should go. So we're gonna fire this thing up and see if the blades engage. Now let's say this works. The obvious question is, well, why did it get loose in the first place? Is it, it is probably a 4 or 5 year old belt, probably 4 years old. Maybe I need a new belt. Maybe all the debris, AI's option 6, sort of caused, an initial slippage, and then, it was off, so it wasn't going to go anywhere. So I think cleaning the debris was definitely a good move. And we'll see. We'll see if the blade's engaged now. All right, the moment of truth. Is the blade going to engage? Here we go. And lo and behold, it worked.
So that worked. Eventually have a lot more yard work to do. I've been traveling quite a bit this summer, and the yard is a bit neglected, but we'll get to that. In the meantime, AI did indeed help greatly with Lawnmower Repair. In fact, it was the whole brains of the operation. As I was putting the belt back on the pulley system, it occurred to me that what was really going on was that AI was the brains and I was the robot, so to speak. We sometimes think of robots sort of in the whole package sense that they themselves are intelligent, but a big part of a robot is just the body, the arms, the legs, the ability to move around in an environment and affect that environment, to affect some change in the physical world. So without the robot, the brain can't do a whole lot. It can think of things, but it can't actually make those things happen. And AI had done the hard work in terms of diagnosing what could be wrong, and then I, as the robot, was implementing each of its potential solutions. So I think that's actually not a bad combination, not a bad metaphor for what's going on in our world. I will tell you this. There are people who are very cautious about AI, very reserved, and I understand the caution, I understand the notion. I work in the field of data analytics, machine learning, and AI, and I will tell you there's no going back. We aren't going to put the genie back in the bottle. Prometheus is not going to reclaim his firebrand and take it away from the humans. We have taken the fire from Prometheus, and we are asking for the next firebrand. So you either use it as a tool to help you with your job and with your life, or you can struggle and flounder when your lawnmower breaks. And you don't really want to shell out a couple $100 to have the lawnmower guy come and do a relatively simple repair, but you had no idea it was simple because you really didn't have an advanced tool, an advanced assistant to guide you in the right direction. So this concludes our episode of AI and lawnmower repair. I'm really glad I got this lawn mowed as I'm leaving tomorrow for some extended travels. We'll see you soon.